Have you heard about James Corden's weight loss? I'm going to tell you how he lost 20 pounds in 3 months with WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers. And I'm going to give you ideas to help you on your own weight loss journey. Hi, it's Ivana, and I specialize in working with men and women over 35 to help them get fitter, healthier, and stronger. First off, I want to say congratulations to James for his weight loss, and I love the way that he's done it as well. It's not a fad diet, it's nothing extreme. He's really made some sensible lifestyle changes. In fact, the approach that he's taken is very much what I talk about on my channel here all the time. James Corden is a late night TV host and an actor.
That'll be me.
And he's also a married man with 3 kids. And there's a lot that you can learn from his journey. I'm going to take you through the 7 steps that James Corden has taken to lose weight. And the last one is the most important one, and it's the same one that I actually used to overcome the yo-yo dieting that I went through in my 20s. The first thing that James does is he enjoys treats in moderation. Now, this is really important. If you don't allow yourself to have the foods that you love fairly regularly, you're only going to crave them more. And then you might end up binging on them and having large quantities, when really small doses once in a while would have been much better. Enjoying foods you love also helps you overcome that feeling of deprivation that really makes a lot of diets so hard to follow. And if you ban yourself from having things that you love, then you're only going to crave them more. We often want what we can't have. The next thing is exercise. Now, while exercise doesn't directly contribute to weight loss as much as most people think, it can be beneficial in a lot of other ways. Now, James says he does weight circuits with his wife, or at least something that his wife has designed for him. Exercise can increase insulin sensitivity and your carb tolerance. It also gives you more energy. And we know what it's like when we're tired. We're probably going to be on the couch consuming high calorie foods that make us put on weight. So having more energy means that you're less likely to be sitting around munching. The next tip is cooking at home. Now, if you're eating out a lot or you're getting a lot of takeout, then it's often hard to know exactly how many calories are in those foods. There might be a lot of sauces and oils, and it's really hard to estimate how much you're consuming. The portion sizes are often very large as well, so if you're tempted to eat the whole thing, it might be too much for you. If you cook for yourself, you have a better idea of what's in your food, and it gives you a bit more of an appreciation for the food as well when you go through that process. Honestly, I'm not much of a cook myself. I pretty much just put things together, and it's not really the kind of food that I could serve to anyone else because it's not very presentable, but at least I know exactly what I'm putting into the meals, and I know what I'm going to be eating. It makes it easier to manage your calories in order to lose weight. James said, as a man, it's historically seen as it isn't very sexy to say that you're on a diet, or it's not very manly somehow to want to make changes in your own health. So if you're a man in your 30s or 40s or 50s, and that's something that's gotten into your head, then part of what you need to change is your mentality about weight loss. It is beneficial for your health, and it does have long-term benefits. And focusing on those things can perhaps make you feel better about the journey. Even if there is some vanity involved, you want to look good, and that's okay. The next thing that James Corden is doing is getting support. Apparently his wife is very supportive of his journey, but he's gotten other family members as well to join WW with him.
And so much of this is about support.
And it's true. Positive support has been shown to make people successful on their weight loss journey. Many of my online coaching clients come to me simply for the support aspect. They know basically what they should be doing, but they need someone to kind of coach them through the process when things get tough. The idea is that you get the support on your journey, and you feel like someone's in there with you who cares about the result. Small, achievable goals. Now, if you set out to lose 50 pounds, it seems a bit overwhelming. I mean, it's hard. Losing 50 pounds is hard. If you're always looking at that 50-pound number, then it's going to be a bigger challenge. So if you look at James's weight loss, the 20 pounds in approximately 3 months, so 12 weeks, and that's reasonable for someone who's fairly far from their target, 40 or 50 pounds, maybe 60 pounds. It's actually a lot easier to lose those first 50 pounds than it is when you have only about 10 pounds left to lose. Because as you lose weight, you progressively have to decrease your calorie intake or increase your calorie expenditure in order to produce a calorie deficit. So as you get closer and closer, you have to fine tune things, and it does become harder. It's easier to focus on those small, achievable goals, the ones that you can see, rather than looking so far away, and maybe that goal doesn't feel achievable right now. But as you progress, that goal will start to feel more achievable because you've already taken a small step to get to the point that you're at. As you lose weight and get closer and closer to your target weight, you have to be more specific with the calories you're taking in and perhaps adjusting your macros, your proteins, fats, and carbs. At the beginning, if you have quite a lot of weight to lose, just increasing your physical activity levels and doing minor tweaks to your nutrition will get you to the next step. And that's why I think it's important for the changes that you make to also be gradual and sustainable. If you believe in gradual, sustainable weight loss like I do, please hit that thumbs up for me. The next thing is finding an important reason. So James Corden has 3 kids, as I mentioned, and he says that his kids are the reason that he's decided to become healthier. I don't want to wake up tired or feel embarrassed when I'm chasing my son on the soccer field and out of breath after 3 minutes. That's a great motivation. It feels really good to be active and physically capable. And if you have kids, you probably want to set a good example for them. So for James Corden, his kids are a really important reason. He's made his career out of being that funny fat guy, and those are his words, not mine. So there's no career pressure for him to lose weight. In fact, he's kind of made a character out of being overweight. But his health and his family is obviously a priority for him. James even did what I thought was an amazing rebuttal to Bill Maher, who's another late night host who talked about fat shaming and basically said that fat shaming should come back, that people should be shamed for being overweight.
Fat shaming never went anywhere.
James talked about how hard it is to be overweight.
Now, there's a common and insulting misconception that fat people are stupid and lazy, and we're not.
They're trying really hard to achieve the result, but it is super hard. And the last thing that James Corden did, which is also what I did in order to overcome yo-yo dieting, he gave up his all or nothing mentality. I talk about this idea a lot on my channel and with my clients because it is the reason why a lot of people fail at weight loss. They think they have to be on a very strict diet, go clean, just eat nothing but clean foods. Then they're on a diet and they have to be working out all the time, or they're sitting on the couch with a bag of chips. And there are many things in between. In fact, I argued that the best way is something in between, where you enjoy those treats in moderation, like we talked about, where you work out, but it's not like you're in the gym 2 hours a day, because who really has time for that? You want to be active and healthy, but you're not going to do something so extreme that you can't maintain it. Now, for me, someone who was always a high achiever academically and in sport, it was quite difficult to overcome this all or nothing mentality. I figured if I wasn't giving it 100%, then I wasn't giving it enough, and that meant that I was failing in some way. But at the end of the day, what's most important is that you're getting the result. So there's no point in losing 10 or 15 pounds if you gain it right back again. You want to lose that weight in a sustainable manner so that you can keep it up, you don't have to suffer from extreme deprivation all the time, and you feel content with your choices. Now, in my 20s, I was up and down with my weight all the time, and now I'm actually lighter than I ever was in my 20s, and I maintain that weight consistently. And most of that is due to just giving up that, oh, I can't have any chocolate, I can't have any ice cream, I can't have any treats at all, otherwise I'm failing with my diet. Now I can just live my life, eat things occasionally that I enjoy. I no longer feel those cravings because I know I can have these things in small quantities if I really want them. Let me know in the comments what you think about James's weight loss strategy, if you've tried WW and what you think about the process. Thanks for watching today. If you want more help on your weight loss journey, stick around and do some binge watching.